Unless you live under a rock, I am sure that you have heard of the horrible situation that has been happening in Israel and now Gaza. This truly is a terrible time for both Jews and Israelis all around the world, and also for innocent Palestinians in Gaza. In order to show support to Israel, this next Chef Daniel video will be on a delicious Israeli holiday food, Sufganiyot. And since it's almost Hanukkah, I thought this is a great recipe to make. With no further ado, let's get into the cooking. Okay, everyone, so you may be thinking, what on earth is Sufganiyot? What are those things? Some off-brand Swedish meatballs? My answer to you is no. As a matter of fact, Sufganiyot are delicious jelly donuts which are fried in oil. And if you think that'll give you a heart attack, you're probably right. That's why you only eat it during Hanukkah. Now, if you want a full explanation of the story of Hanukkah, I recommend you go and watch my Latkes video, which I put out last year. But basically, for Hanukkah, we celebrate the miracle of the menorah, which is oil lasted for 8 days straight, and we do that by eating foods that have been cooked in oil. Now, you may remember that in my applesauce video, I encouraged you to watch the video over once before you cooked, and this is super important this time because Sufganiyot include a dough that needs to rise with yeast, so you really do need to make sure you have a ton of time. Now, little bit of credit where credit is due. This recipe comes from Once Upon a Chef, okay? And the recipe is by Jen Segal, so thank you very much for that. So first, we're going to make the dough, we're going to set it aside to rise, and then we're going to make and fry the Sufganiyot. Okay, so here's what you're going to need, because there are a lot of ingredients this time. So you're going to need 1 cup of warm water heated to about 110 Fahrenheit. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of instant/rapid rise or active dry yeast, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar, plus more for coating, that's very important, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 2 large egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, plus about 2 quarts more for frying. That's very important. Make sure you have a ton of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and about 1 cup of jam or jelly. That's extra important. Okay, so what you want to do is combine 1 tablespoon of yeast and your warm water in a bowl, whisk it, and then let sit until foamy, about 5 minutes. In the meantime, in a large bowl, combine 3 cups of flour, 1/4 of a cup of confectioner's sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, so now you whisk this to combine and then set aside. So separate 2 eggs and put the egg yolks into the yeast mixture. There we go. Next, add 2 tablespoons of oil to the yeast mixture. Add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Whisk until combined. Now, add your wet yeast mixture to your flour mixture and stir with a rubber spatula until combined. And the dough should be a bit sticky. Now, it says to do it with a rubber spatula, though I'm doing it with my hands, and I believe that's what the Maccabees would have done. Okay, so now what you want to do is cover your bowl with cling wrap and allow it to sit on the countertop until it has doubled in size. That's quite a prospect, so that's going to be 1 to 2 hours. Whoa! Holy cow, that actually rose double the size. Look at that! Okay, so here's what needs to be done. You need to line a baking sheet with a few layers of paper towels. Line another baking sheet with parchment paper and dust heavily with flour. Another thing that you need to do is dust your countertop with flour and your hands with flour for that matter, so that they don't stick to the dough. And then what you need to do is take the dough and go kerthump. Oh, that's sticky. Okay. It wouldn't kerthump. And then spread it into a big rectangle. So now what you want to do is really spread the dough out till it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. I'm not sure how much that is because inches are weird. However, spread it out until it's pretty thin. And now, using a pizza cutter or a very sharp knife, I recommend kind of making indentations of where you want to cut. Like we have, hopefully 24, but can be less, and 24 2-inch squares. Oh, I love using a pizza cutter. All of your little Sufganiyot dough squares into your parchment paper and flour baking sheet. Sprinkle them lightly with flour. Now add approximately 2 inches of vegetable oil into preferably a really heavy Dutch oven. That's what these are great with. So, there are very specific instructions about when the oil is ready. It's either at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or when a 1-inch cube of bread is dropped into the hot oil. It should take about a minute for the cube to become golden brown. Definitely recommend putting a spatter guard on here, even if it doesn't fit perfectly. A burn from hot oil is terrible, so I recommend putting one of these on. Why is it doing that anyway? The oil is ready, so now what I'm doing is using a swatted spoon, this is the best I had on hand, and putting in our Sufganiyot. And you're going to want to flip them halfway through. Cook them for 3 minutes. Ooh, that oil is hot because these things are cooking like there's no tomorrow. Oops. All right, they are ready now. Cooked a bit longer, just because they're really big Sufganiyot. But here we are. Now place them on your baking sheet with paper towels on.
Remember, you can put a ton of these in at once.
Now for everyone's favorite part of the Chef Daniel show, Spectator's Sufganiyot filling station. Okay, so Spectator's gonna do a demo, and then I'm gonna do the rest. So take it away, Spectator.
Okay, so normally if you had a piping bag, which we don't have at the cottage, you would make a little hole, you'd put your jam in the piping bag, you'd pipe the filling into your Sufganiyot. In the absence of that, we improvise, right? So we cut a little pocket. We cut a pocket in the Sufganiyot. Okay, and we take our jam, and we want a decent amount of jam because Daniel really likes this jam, and we fill it. We fill it with tons of jam. We put it on our platter. We move on to the next one.
Beautiful.
Repeat with all of your Sufganiyots, but remember, you want a lot of jam.
Okay, so now what you want to do is what really gives these a popping show in the thumbnail, which is to dust them with powdered sugar. The way you do this is take a spoon, put your powdered sugar into your sieve, and then just give it a good old dusting. Now, to eat. So here's one of the mini Sufganiyots that we made, and these look absolutely delicious, a bit messy, so you're going to want to have a napkin or an apron, but it is so worth it. Usually I just take a bite of this and then give my final remarks. No way, I'm eating the whole thing. Okay, gonna have to wipe my hands on my apron to be able to do all these hand signals. So, let me tell you, this is absolutely incredible. No matter if you celebrate Hanukkah or not, I absolutely guarantee you will love these Sufganiyot. What else am I supposed to say? They're delicious. The end. Have a good day. Happy Hanukkah, and I hope you enjoy making these to those who don't celebrate Hanukkah. So, no further ado, this is Chef Daniel, signing off. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Stay strong, Israel.